whether it's the programs that happen here, or serving a meal every day in the morning, or Mahashivratri. For us, it's all 100% all the time because it's a night of celebration and because there's so much music that happens and because it's something that everybody can relate to.
नमस्कारम. आपको पता है ईशा योगा सेंटर में वी आर हियर, वी आर एंजॉयिंग दी महाशिवरात्रि वाइब्स. वी हैव विद अस द वन एंड ओनली daughter of Sadhguru Radhe Jaggi. Can I call you Radhe Akka?
You can call me whatever you like, but I'm not the only daughter. He has a few million. I'm just a little bit closer by blood, that's all.
But I really want to know, Radhe Akka, that you have seen Sadhguru as a father, as a guru, as someone who has taught a lot many people in the world about meditation, about Shiva, about himself. What have you learned from him? Like any basic discipline or anything that you would want to share with the viewers?
What have I learned from him? Everything. I think people have a misunderstanding that as a father he is different, or as a guru he's different, or when he comes to events he's different, or at home he's different. But he's really not. He's the same person everywhere. Maybe, of course, when I was growing up, when I was younger, I'm sure being a very young child, he had to do many things for me in different ways. Including, I mean, he used to cook for me and do everything for me,
What
including
was the
pack for me.
best dish that he cooked for you?
The best thing that Sadhguru makes is a Mysore masala dosa.
We've got it. Sadhguru makes Mysore masala dosa, and we've got it from his own daughter. So we would love to share this with the viewers so that
I
they
think
can,
there's
because they
videos
want to
of
know.
him making dosas actually that are available. Yeah. So when I was younger, I wouldn't eat masala dosa anywhere else because I would only eat it at home.
Because your father cooks the best.
Because he made the best ones.
Yeah. Akka, I would want to know, like, you are a acclaimed, world-renowned Bharatnatyam dancer. You've performed everywhere in the world, I would say, and here also in Isha Ashram, you're teaching a lot of children. Also, you perform. Project Samskriti is something that you are taking care of, and you perform. The kids perform, and those choreographies are done by you. How do you decide the concept, and how do you come up with the stories that they are going to perform at MSR right now?
So there's a whole team that looks into what is. We don't have a theme every year, but we have some kind of color. This year, of course, there's a slightly more strong theme. And we try to curate something that's in line with that, but it's not limited to that. I think this year we chose the story of Ravana going to Kailash because Ravana as a character is a very unique representation of having both sides. He's both good and bad. He's scholarly and he's lustful. He does many horrible, stupid things, but he also did many wonderful things. So, and this is true of all of us, and this is, maybe we see it more clearly in Ravana, but this is true of our gods, this is true of the Asuras, this is in any story you look at in our Indian subcontinent. Yes. Always in one way, Indra is a wonderful man, in another day he does something else. Arjuna is wonderful, he does something else. Yes. Shiva also has all kinds of characters, and I feel Shiva actually that way is a representation of everything, because every kind of person that you can be, he is, and he is 100%.
Which character of Shiva do you like the best?
I don't, as long as he's a presence in my life, I don't question what kind of character. But Ravana we chose because the story is also very interesting. Many of us, when we put our minds to something, things that seem impossible, it is possible for us to make them happen if we have the determination, that kind of determination that he had. So he decides that he's going to bring Kailash home. No matter what, he is going to bring it. He's going to lift the mountain and bring it to his home. So he goes all the way up to Kailash and he manages to pick up the mountain. And Parvati looks at Shiva and says, "What is this? This man is doing this." So Shiva just presses with his big toe and the mountain falls on Ravana's hands and his arms are crushed. There are very detailed descriptions of the kind of devotee that Shiva was. So one is this, that when he sang the Shiva Tandava Stotram, somebody who is capable of doing anything at any time is now got his arms trapped under the mountain. So he sings beautiful poetry. And they also say that he made the Rudraveena out of his nerves and his guts. So he's that kind of man. When he puts his mind to something, he makes sure that it happens. Ravana is in a big hurry to head back, but along the way he meets Ganapati. And he tells Ganapati, "You hold this." He doesn't know it's Ganapati. He says, "You just hold it. I'm just going to have a bath and come." And Ganapati being Ganapati places it down so that Ravana cannot go and misuse the lingam once he goes home. This is roughly the story that we're doing this year. And it's unique because normally we do more Bharatanatyam, but this year we've included a lot of the martial arts. And we have girls and boys of all ages who are doing some fantastic martial arts. So I hope that people have a new appreciation for Kalaripayattu because it's definitely incredible.
But for the young people, we are seeing a lot of Western dance forms and Western culture being inculcated. They're taking up more Western dance forms. But do you want to say anything to the young people, 2021? How can they take up Bharatanatyam and how Bharatanatyam helps them in their daily lives?
So, like any art form, whether it's Western dance or Indian classical dance, it takes that much attention and dedication to make it happen for you. So, it's just a question of where you put your attention. For me, classical dance just happened because I didn't want to go back to school and I visited Kalakshetra and I just felt it was such a wonderful place to be. And so it entered my life like that. I'd been learning dance since I was young, but I never thought I'm going to grow up and be a dancer. But after I got intensely involved in it, I realized that it's not just the dance. There's so much poetry, there's music, there's literature, there's literature not in one language. When you're a dancer, you have access to literature in all languages in India. And you have the freedom also in India to work with it in the way that you can relate to it.
Yes.
So when so much is available in the dance form, it doesn't occur to me to look anywhere else.
Akka, I want to know, this is just out of curiosity. Sadhguru loves his bikes. He likes to travel in his bikes. He has taken 30,000 kilometer ride in USA and many other countries. I just want to know which vehicle is your favorite. Where would you like to travel on any vehicle?
I'm definitely better in a car than on two wheels. But this thing that Sadhguru loves his bikes, I think people who have seen him in the last few years, they associate him with bikes. But actually for almost 30-35 years, he had not ridden a motorcycle because after he started building Isha Foundation, he had given it up completely and it was just work. Only after his 60th birthday, he bought the first bike again after 35 years.
Wow.
So to me, it's a little funny that people associate him so much with only his bikes. Because growing up, I never saw him on a motorcycle. So when I saw him at 60-61 on a motorcycle, I was also surprised.
Because people take up passions after seeing Sadhguru. Because people see Sadhguru riding a bike and they want to ride a bike because Sadhguru is doing it. I would want to know one more thing. The vibe of Mahashivratri. It's everywhere around the world. And Mahashivratri at Coimbatore, how is it making so much noise?
See, all of us here in Isha, whatever we do, we get fully involved and we throw it 100%. Whether it's the programs that happen here or serving a meal every day in the morning or Mahashivratri. For us, it's all 100% all the time. It's just that because it's a night of celebration and because there's so much music that happens and because it's something that everybody can relate to. Because anybody who sits up through the night can experience something. It makes it easier for people to connect with it. So if you can imagine that we do serving food with so much intensity, then obviously something like Mahashivratri, we do that much more. And I'm glad that more and more people are experiencing that night.
Yes, they are, because a lot of people from many different countries, I have seen people from Russia and Ukraine and Israel and everywhere coming here. They want to just experience Dhyana Linga, they want to experience meditation. This is extremely, I would say, involving. It is also promoting the Sanatan and taking India to the world.
I think the entire country, if you look at what we considered as our country, we're divided by language, we're divided by so many things. Food is different, clothing is different, everything is different. But this yearning for moksha is what makes us a country. Because whether you're in Tamil Nadu or you go to Kashmir or you go to Assam or you go to Punjab, this yearning for moksha has been there for centuries, millennia it has been there in this country. And this is just one expression of that.
Thank you so much for joining with us. Just one last thing. Do you want to say anything to our viewers who are watching you and for related to Mahashivratri 2025?
Please join us for Mahashivratri 2025. You must stay up with us from 6 in the evening till 6 in the morning. We have a wonderful show put together. But it's important that you stay up and you can celebrate the night with us.
Namaskaram.